Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I've been saying this for some time, and this is, virtue signaling and chest beating takes a backseat to the economic interest. That is for the weak. Weak will do that. Will drop virtue and character at the first sign of pain, because that's why they're weak. Strong people stand by their convictions, by their character, by their virtues. And weak people, if it hurts a little bit, if I'm hungry, I'm done. So this is the case, I think, with what's going on between the United States and Venezuela at this point. As you know, the United States needs oil now, as most of the countries who imposed or that imposed sanctions on Russia and on Iran. So now in Venezuela. So now they need all these countries. Now that Russia is the biggest threat, we gotta punish Russia. We have to accept Venezuela somehow to fill the gap, the market. The thing is, Venezuela did not change anything in its human rights violation. It's the same leaning to the left country, communist, socialist, whatever you want to call it. But under the circumstances, the Biden administration agreed to lift some sanctions. Why? Because they need oil. So they are eager to do this, the human rights and other things, just to be allowed to have Chevron go and manage some Venezuelan oil. So that is, virtue goes out, this and lifestyle goes in. That's why I said that these sanctions imposed on Russia will not last long, because once the population in the Western countries will feel a little bit of discomfort, they will start yelling. A little bit of discomfort, not much, a little bit. Versus, let's say, the Chinese or the Russians or the Eastern European or other countries who have scarcity. They're used to scarcity. These guys are used to abundance. So when it's abundance, you take a little bit, it's like the end of the world. For someone who's used to scarcity, you give him a little bit, that's the world. And if you take a little bit more, it's already the bottom anyway. So let's read this article that just came in right now. It's hot. Woo, I barely can hold this. All right, so it's from Oil Price Com, editor Oil Price Com, May 22nd, 2022, 5 p.m. Right now is what? 6:44 or something. So this is the title. Geopolitics takes a back seat as Biden drops sanctions on Venezuela. What changed in Venezuela? Nothing in Venezuela. It changed in the United States. Good decisions they made. Good, great, fantastic. The same Europeans. But the Europeans are kept at the arm's length. You can't come and discuss with Venezuela. This is our guy. We buy from him. We manage Venezuela's oil. Not Shell, not BP, not you guys. It's us. You see how it goes? Because this is the chief, the guy in charge of the club. Look, if you watch Animal Planet or other documentaries about crocodiles, see when someone does kills something in the river, one of the crocodiles, the biggest crocodile comes over and takes the biggest share and moves like the lion. He comes in, gets it, and the coyotes and the hyenas are just waiting until the lion gets his belly full. So here is the lion's share. United States, everybody back off, I'm gonna smack you. So when Biden sent a delegation in Caracas in early March, the war was over there in Ukraine, rumors began to circulate that the U.S. was considering reopening relations with Venezuela as oil prices soared. Now, after a period of silence from Washington and on the subject, it appears that the U.S. is going to ease its sanctions on the Latin American oil giant. At the same time that the U.S. is lifting some sanctions, Venezuela is working with Iran to help revive its oil industry. So they want to cut Iran off as well in the process. It seems geopolitics have taken a backseat to the global energy crisis as oil prices soar. And it says here that the U.S. imposed oil sanctions on Venezuela under Trump administration in 2019 due to ongoing human rights violations by President Nicolas Maduro. Under President Biden, there were discussions about reopening some trade links by allowing crude for diesel exchange on humanitarian grounds, although this never came to fruition. However, the U.S. oil and gas firm Chevron, sounds French, Chevron has been allowed to continue limited operations in Venezuela, and now they give the reason, which is false in my opinion. I'll tell you why. In Venezuela, in order to help avoid the collapse of the country's oil industry. So without Chevron, the Venezuela would have been dead in the water over there floating. Blah, 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 blah. That's not true. I tell you why. Romania, in the 80s, 70s, 80s, developed their own refineries, production, everything on its own. Or if not on its own, it did it, and then it managed it. And it was on its own. It's not a big deal. And if Romanians could do it, Venezuelans can do it, right? If a man can do it, another man can do it. Remember that movie, The Edge, with Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin? Anyway, that guy, yes. So nevertheless, this is, they need a Chevron. Without Chevron, the Venezuelans would be what? Picking bananas or something. They are not able. It's an insult right there. Insult. Who's this guy? Editor. I don't know who editor is here. Anyway, so there has been speculation in recent months around whether Biden would ease restrictions on Venezuela in response to global crude shortages because of your sanctions you're doing and a severe rise in oil prices of your doing, with several commentators highlighting the dangers of such a move. So the White House announced in May that it was reconsidering its restrictions on Venezuelan oil, entering discussions with Maduro. Biden would now allow Chevron Corporation, only Chevron, that's it, I wonder why, to negotiate its oil license with a state-owned oil producer Petróleos de Venezuela, PDVSA, thereby reducing certain sanctions on the oil-rich state. Although no further oil drilling or additional revenues for the Maduro government will be permitted. So they don't permit, they're going to tell what the country, sovereign country, can do. No, you can't do that. No. It's your oil, it's your country, but we tell you not to do it. Is this. But Ukraine has all the rights to be independent and sovereign, and we're going to defend Ukraine to the end. But Venezuela, no. Human rights violation. But now human rights violation don't really matter, do they? And Ukraine was not a perfect country either on that human rights violation, if I remember correctly. Neither was Poland. Wasn't Poland the pariah of Europe before the war? Right, with the rights of minorities. I remember correctly. Yes, I do. Oh, my. So although no further oil drilling or additional revenues for the Maduro government will be permitted. By who? Who? His father? His uncle? Who? Oh, United States, the big boss. Oh, the Monroe Doctrine. It's okay, the Chinese are taking over, you see. The move follows the meeting between U.S. officials and Maduro in March to discuss how to move forward. Like, we give you this, you give us this, basically. So anyway, this is what it is. And then what can I say? Economic interest, Trump, morality, and rights, international law, and all this goes out the window the moment we can make a buck. And for this purpose, if my gas goes down over there, and at the pump, and I'm a, how do you call it, I'm a mercenary, and I'm a selfish, then yeah, go ahead. Yeah, why don't you take the whole of it? Take it all. So see how it is? That's how it is with the profits that these oil companies and energy companies are making nowadays due to the war in Ukraine and the sanctions imposed by these countries that their companies make this profit, including Saudi Arabia as well. And Russia as well doubled its profits in the first quarter of this year. Unbelievable. And what do? We pay more at the pump. Why? Not because necessarily of that. That's a big inflation. Why? I remember that virus that was around here. Yeah, that's one of the reasons. It's the payments that they were given for that. It's the printing of the money. It's the bad management of the economy. You can point fingers there, but at one point you have to point fingers at you because you are the decision maker. And you work with the garbage around you, and you gave garbage. So it's all right. Human rights gone, money in. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.